The real source of harm is not what other people say or do to you, but it's what you say and do to you that really cuts deep and really creates the harm in your body and in your mind. We're looking at Stoic recovery or Stoic wisdom. This passage by Epictetus says, keep in mind that it isn't the one who has it in for you and takes a swipe at you that harms you, but rather the harm comes from your own belief about the abuse. So when someone arouses your anger, know that it's really your own opinion fueling it. Now this can come from mental harm, this can come from physical harm. It's not the act that happens, it's not the way that somebody else betrays us or harms us that creates the greatest negative effect. It's what we tell ourselves, it's what we believe about why that happened that creates a negative effect. If somebody were to come along and say something to you and you completely disregarded it, completely didn't believe it, maybe they're a 5-year-old child and they say something and it's hurtful, well, you can discount that very easily because of where it's coming from. But when we allow something to cut us, it's because in a way we are validating that and we think that there is some truth to it. If somebody comes along and they judge me in a certain way or they say something negative towards me and it cuts me emotionally, it's not their words that is creating that emotional pain. It's my belief or my validation of their words that is creating that pain. If they say something and it triggers me, it's not because they said it, it's because there's some part of that that I feel is truthful or that I feel is reality. And it's that realization that really cuts me. It's not their judgment of me, it's my judgment of me that's creating that emotional pain and will carry that emotional pain forward for so long. If it is as drastic as physical harm that somebody causes to you, again, it's not that physical harm that will create that lasting impact or that lasting negative effect. It's what we feel about that physical harm. If somebody harms us and we feel that they were justified in doing it, or our self-esteem is brought down, our sense of self-worth is brought down, and from that physical harm, we now are telling ourselves a story that we deserved it, with as little as we're worth, that's something that we deserve or we should have had that, or God or the universe isn't looking out for us because we're such a bad person and we're so defective and we've done so many bad things. If that's the emotion that's triggered or those are the thoughts that is triggered by that action, then that's where the real harm comes from. It's from what we're saying to ourselves and what story we're telling ourselves about that physical or that verbal harm that takes place that creates the greatest amount of pain. So if we want to move beyond that, if we want to protect ourselves from that pain, then we must protect the thoughts that we have and the stories that we tell ourselves. Our reality is really of our own perception, and it's from the world that we create by the way that we think about ourselves and the way that we think about the events and the circumstances that we face. Every event or circumstance, whether it's somebody else doing something or saying something to us, that is an event, and it creates a circumstance within us. If that event, if we interpret that as something that's negative about us, if we take it personally, if we allow it to cut deep to our core and affect our sense of self-worth and affect the thoughts that we have, then it's going to create and perpetuate so much more pain. That's where the real impact comes from, that real source of harm. As Epictetus says, keep in mind that it isn't the one who has it in for you and takes a swipe at you that harms you, but rather the harm comes from your own belief about the abuse, your own belief, the own story that you've told yourself about that. If you don't like that pain, if you don't want to perpetuate that pain, if you don't want to really suffer the core of that abuse, then you need to change your thoughts about it or learn to see it in a new way so that you can regain your peace of mind and protect your recovery. Thanks for checking out this video. Look for some more Stoic recovery wisdom coming soon. Be well. Hey YouTube fam, Garret Biss here. Thanks for checking out this Stoic recovery video. If you want some more Stoic recovery, click up here. You can check the next video in the series. If you want some other videos on addiction, on recovery, click down here and we'll take you over to a good playlist. Please drop your comments below. I want to know what you thought of this video. Please share it with somebody that would like it. And of course, click down here and subscribe to join this channel so you get notifications when the next videos come out. Appreciate you. You be well.